Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ODTN use case team call. We've had some pause since the last few weeks, and thanks, Kingston and Sudeep, for joining. It's probably going to be a short call, but I want to go over the status of the driver consolidation work and discuss the next steps because I think we are pretty much ready for merging most of it. So I went to the patches, and while I was at ONF in December, I tested the flow programmable and the power configuration and the modulation configuration for the Cassinis I have at ONF, and they were working no problem. They were working without any issue. So I also know
Okay.
that the flow programmable works for ADVA, and the power configuration also works for ADVA, if I'm not mistaken. I need to make sure with Jakub, but I'm like 95% on this. The one that was not tested for not the Nokia, not the ADVA stuff, was the modulation configuration. I think it works because the classes were basically identical, but it was not tested. So I think that is. So go ahead.
For Cassini and ADVA, the modulation config is the same class.
So then, yes, then this is perfect. This works for ADVA too. So I think it will work for Nokia. There was no Nokia class, so worst case we're not actually doing anything wrong by just simply putting it in. So the state of the patch is that I think what we can do is that we can go ahead and merge this one with basically no issue. I need to make a final review, but I don't think there is any major comment from patch set 4 and 3 and 4. So I don't think there's a problem there. I'll make a final pass to this, and if there is no issues, I'll go ahead and merge it. The power configuration, same thing. So as we discussed, the prefixes need to be left in there, and they are present here. So that's no problem. We're just leaving a few more elements in this class than in the others, but I think that's perfectly fine. Is that okay? Sudeep, do you think it's fine leaving it this as is, or do you think it needs other touches before we merge it? Sudeep, can you hear me? I think you're muted if you're trying to speak.
Yeah. Sorry.
No
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, Ken. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll make a final pass on this one too. It got a +1, so I think we can just go ahead and merge this one. So this one, let's say, can be merged. The one that needs rebasing, and probably all of them will need a rebase, meaning that as soon as I merge, let's say, the power configuration, no, actually not. This one can go in without causing any issues, but also this one can go in without causing any issues. And okay, perfect. So these two can be merged, basically. We can go ahead and do this. And if any issues arise, we can always fix them later.
Okay.
These ones, I need to understand what's the difference between this one and this one.
Actually, right. Actually, we had done a commit. We had just without any changes. We had tried to commit thing. That's why there were two changes arising out of that. In the latter commit, we have all the correct things. The first commit, whichever we had done, was not having any files. Basically, it was like just we had committed only one class that was existing. In the second commit, it has all the files basically. The first commit can be what you say
neglected meaning that this can be abandoned. No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me do this. Stale updated in. There you go. 22890. Perfect. Okay, done. Got it.
Okay.
Perfect. So this one I have to review. I have not have had the time to review yet. Okay. So I'll
Okay,
make
fine.
a pass. I'll make a pass, and then we can start taking and we can start possibly merging this. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Let me do that. And it also needs a rebase. I don't exactly know why. So I'll do this review. I know it was working for Cassini because I tested it, but I had no time to review it. So
Okay, sure.
okay, and if anybody wants to take a review of this, I think that's perfect. Okay. So as soon as we have these two and that one, the only missing one is the major uh, device description discovery, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Um, are you guys already taking a look at that, except for the spreadsheet
We
that is here?
we have started taking look at it in the sense this can be also pretty much achieved in the same way as we have done for the other three.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense going by the approach we have started taking a look. We will try to send you a patch by this Friday.
Oh, nice. That would be great. That would be great. So
Okay.
my
Okay.
goal is to get this stuff in by January the 20, well, uh, a little bit before January the 23rd, which is the release date for ONOS. So
Definitely, Andrea.
I don't think that, and even if we don't get the device description discovery in, I think it's fine. Because along with that release, I plan to say this is what you can consider ODTN 1.0, or well,
Okay.
uh, the
Okay.
the official release of ODTN, which includes phase 1.0, 1.5, and part of 2.0. So cut a few things, release it, and have a few release notes with what you can do, and I'll try to put those together for next week so we can go ahead and review them together here.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and review this. By the end of today, I'll try to squeeze it in at the end of this call. I don't think I have too much time. I'll do a pass again on the flow group programmable,
Okay.
and I'll go ahead and merge the power. So actually, let me do that right away. Sorry. There you go. Okay, good. Merged. Okay, perfect. And we can go ahead and do the other ones as soon as I do that. Device description discovery approach would be the same. Batch upcoming December, January. What is it? 10th, give or take. Okay, perfect. We also before Christmas merged the cross connect command from Ivan, who has since left Nokia at the end of his internship. So that was good having that in. That's merged. That's done. We also merged this patch, which is the Nokia alarm config and alarm stuff. I actually encourage everybody to try and take a look at this. So if, for example, Puneet, you want to try this, joined the call, then dropped, but whatever. If the people at Sterlite, the people at Adva want to try this, this is perfectly fine. It should be standard. There is no Nokia proprietary stuff in the class. So we could rename it just open config alarm config for the translation. There is some stuff that might need changing, but for now the only tested one is the Nokia, so I'll leave it at that. But it got in, so that's good. The instruction, we also merged all the GUI stuff related to alarms, so that's perfect. It's up there. And I think that's kind of it. I was looking for volunteers to do UI CLI bit error rate extension for the existing ODTN UI. So if anybody's interested, do look at that. My plan for the GMPY integration is to merge it. Let's say before for next week. Merge it before next week with beta tags. So people know it's beta, people know it's not expected to work right off the bat, and people know it's not like it can change. There is no major issue in just if you want to try it, feel free to do it, just up to you. And same, I was hoping to get Jan to finish up my comments on these drivers. I'll ping him to make sure that he gets them in before, let's say, next Monday. So and I'll make sure this gets in. Okay. Then we're targeting a January 23rd of January release, target with tie-in with ONOS 2.3 and have the release notes as we discussed before. Okay, that was all I had for today's call. There is one more thing before we end, but I want to take the opportunity to discuss any technical issue. Deep, Kingston, do you have any questions, calls?
Kingston, sorry, and what is we would like to take up some UI work after the current activity. Just as you mentioned, there is some UI work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
okay,
I can easily
we can have
add you to this.
Okay.
And to do it, I was thinking fairly simple. We have done this in the past for like things like power. So if you go in Gerrit, there is a fairly good example of what needs to be done. Power UI. Let's see if I can get this up. Yeah, let's take this one. So this is a fairly simple addition that basically adds a message that gets exchanged between the back end of the UI and the front end of the UI.
Okay.
For power, reading current input power. It adds it to basically a table that is getting initialized. And that table and how uses a method that is get current input power method, or puts it as an unknown. This is then called by the front end, which is this CSS. I don't think this is needed particularly per se, but this is what we need to add. For example, this is the current input power being added to the UI. So you basically add a TD here and add the bit error rate, and both pre-post fact values. Yet again, add the same TD here. That includes the power. Convert it to number. There's maybe there's this you don't need to add, and then this you don't need to change because it was already changed. So it's basically this port component HTML file and the port view message handler for the UI. Very, very simple. Let me actually post this.
Can you send me out that?
Absolutely. I was planning to put it in the notes. So here, example for UI. Okay, and then the CLI, we can do kind of the same thing. And there is, for example, I think it's wavelength. CLI, I think, like that. Yeah, there it is. So this is how you add, well, maybe, let me see how port wavelength. Now, who did this? Let me see. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's a good example. So this is how you add a CLI command. Obviously, the CLI command is it's different. This one sets the wavelength, so you just need to have to retrieve the stuff, but everything is in here. You basically define a service command, and then you extend the abstract shell command class, and have argument completion, all of that, and then there is a do execute method, and this do execute method gets called, and in here you have to like fetch the data and print it. Basically, that's kind of the idea. Let me put this up here too. So it should be fairly straightforward.
Sure, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have any questions, I'm here for you guys. And if anybody from Nokia or Adva wants to test this, I'll be happy to figure out what's the state of the command based on state of the behavior, and if it works for everybody. I would like to know, because we could simply add it to the drivers, to the existing drivers for that device, and it would add the capability for it. So just if Jakub or Dominique test this, just do let me know, and I'll be happy to merge a patch that includes that in your driver. So it's great. Okay. And I see Dominique and Gert are on the call, so thanks for joining, guys. Happy to see you online.
Yes, sorry, I have to join late. Hello, everybody. Yes, okay. Yes, this is planned to we test this this UI in our test bed. It is planned, but I don't know when it will happen. But we are going to do it.
Yeah, what we can do is we can provide instructions.
You have some deadlines, but what you would like to.
Obviously, it's not. There is the deadline to release the ODTN 1.0. It's again, as I said, January the 23rd. And since this is a minor patch, I think we can hold January the 23rd as a deadline. But if it's not in there, this is such a minor thing that we can do a 1.1 next month or something, or 1.01 next month, and have no problem. So there's really no rush. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the same holds for the alarm for everybody else. So if anybody tests the alarm that works with the Nokia stuff, and let me know if it works for your environment slash device, whatever. Let me know, and we can go ahead. After that, we will need to take up a plan, what to do next. So about the next months of the project, there is one thing that I have to tell everybody. Basically, I was asked to lead an ONF presence in Berlin. So ONF is opening a very small presence in Berlin as a European office, basically. And I was asked by ONF to lead this presence and be the point of contact for that office. So I'm relocating to Berlin as of next Monday. And the downside of this is that I'll be transitioning a little bit off ODTN, meaning that I could not really be as hands-on as I've been in the past. So I was looking for somebody to help me and help ONF really push the project forward and kind of do what I was doing in these months, the past year. So schedule the calls, help prepare an agenda, guide and shape the project, and review the code. I know this is a big undertaking, and I'm not asking for a full commitment right now. And I will not disappear. I'm not disappearing from the project entirely, but I have to scale back my participation. So having somebody that can do most of the things for the project while I sit a little bit on the side and definitely help on review and guidance, and we offer all of the ONF infrastructure, um, it would be good. So that's just an announcement that I have to make about all of this to anybody. So I will not do any more development. I can still definitely provide guidance, but it would be better if somebody is there day to day for the community. So I'll probably send out an email on how we plan to proceed. The idea would be to, again, ask or elect through a process somebody that will be this point of contact and relieve me of some of those functions, and then progress the project. The project is not going to change, just the person in charge, the person leading it and providing all those calls might change. And that it would be effective. We were hoping to get this process of transitioning to somebody in my role by February the 1st. Yet again, I'm not disappearing from the project. I'm not like going away completely, but it would be good if somebody helps me and helps ONF and helps the project to continue forward with some time, because my time will be very focused on, again, dealing with the office that we're gonna start in Berlin. So, any questions? Any thoughts?
Concerning this Berlin office, ONF office in Berlin, what is the point is to have a replication of the ONF office in US, or
I would say so. I wouldn't say replication, meaning it would not be an exact copy, but the idea is to have a presence in Europe that helps our European partners and members and community to have a better engagement. Initially, it will be me and another couple of people working closely with a few other people from members and partners. But the idea is really to provide as a space where the community can get together. Because if somebody wants to get involved very much with ONF and needs to be ramped up, and it comes from the European community, it's much easier for him to come for a few days to a Berlin office rather than going to the US. So the idea is really to use this office to gather a stronger community in Europe and nourish our existing community. So that's the idea. And it will be an ONF. It's an ONF office. We're not like doing anything different than the office that we have in the US. That makes sense, Dominique?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but there will be basically a similar organization as in the US. Maybe develop on ODTN nodes to develop software, right? Or
it will not be a different organization. It will be the same ONF. It's the exact same ONF. There's
okay.
no difference. There's no difference there. It's the same ONF, same. Same project, same everything. It's just that it's gonna be it's just gonna have a set of people placed in Berlin instead of Menlo Park.
Okay.
There's really no difference. Everything else will continue, and that's why we want to find somebody for ODTN, because the issue is that there is a little bit of it's not the most it's not the project that is going to deployment next, meaning that there is still some time before we get this to deployment, and we have found some hard time getting commitment from our partners to deploy it and our members to deploy it. So the idea is that we want to continue the project, and I will be definitely there to help continue the project. But since I was given this task of starting the office and really getting people on board and helping the partners and members to join and really nourish and gather the community, I have to scale back my presence there, and I'm scaling back the presence in every other project that I have. So also ONOS Config, for example, in MicroONOS, I'm scaling my presence there back because I have to focus on this. And because of this, my scaling back, we need to find somebody that helps us continue some of these day-to-day tasks of the project. That's about it. But I'll be sending out an email with some more detail on how we will pick this person and how we hope to find a person. But if anybody wants to volunteer, I'm not going to say no, absolutely. So that was that. And we will organize again meetups and events and stuff like this in the office. So it's just going to be a better fit for the European community because it's located in Berlin. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to discuss? No? Okay, if not, I'll make sure to send out the details to test the BTerror rate for you, Dominique. So when you have time, you can test that. And I'll make sure to ping Jan for the checklight drivers and add the beta tags to my GMPI integration and just merge it as is. And also make a pass on the flow root programmable after the last patch from Sudeep and Kingston, and merge that if possible. Okay. I'll publish the recording as usual. Thanks everybody. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye bye.